Good afternoon. Hello. My name is Frankie Kington, known as a wise entrepreneur, and my guest speaker this afternoon is a great guy called Michael Robinson, who's a good friend of mine. Hi, Michael. How are you?
Hi, Frankie.
So, Michael, yeah, is a very good friend of mine. Michael has so much to tell the viewers and tell us about his life, about himself. I know that he's an up and coming YouTuber, so we're going to explore why Mike wants to do YouTubes. But I'm going to get around to Mike just to explain a little bit about himself, where he actually comes from, his growing up, and why he's actually here now. So, Mike, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, please, Michael? Your life, where you've grown up, and who you are.
Yeah. You've told everyone my name. Basically, I was born in Lancaster. Never lived there, but born in Lancaster, and then grew up in a place called Polton-le-Fylde, which is about 10 minutes from Blackpool. Like a market town. Went to primary school, high school there. My parents still live there, so now and again I'll visit. But yeah, it's not the same as when you go back and visit. It's got a different. You just think it's changed, but I don't know if it's the same for children growing up there now as I was. You know what I mean? Because you feel more connected to everyone that you know when you're growing up, don't you? So yeah, and then I went to went off the rails about 14, 15, in a pretty big way. Sort of 20s were spent basically how honest can I be? I don't know. Should I keep it general?
Mike, you're doing absolutely fine. You've gone off the rails, I've gone off the rails. So we have something here in common, a real connection here. Explain to us what you mean by going off the rails.
Going off the rails. Well, I suppose drugs, basically. I was in rehab when I was 17. So quite young. I didn't stay in that. It was a detox and a rehab, and I didn't stay in it very long. Yeah, I wasn't allowed home for a while, so I was sleeping at friends for a bit, and then eventually went home. I think I must have. I know between sort of 18 and 20, I was at college. I had a girlfriend. I had quite a few friends, and everything was pretty good. So I've obviously sorted myself out then. But then, addiction problems kept on creeping back in. My 20s was pretty much on and off, active addiction, until I got to about, I've got loads. I did loads of like normal stuff in those 10 years in my 20s, but but it was always like a countdown to when I'd relapse, So that there's so many stories from those days, good and bad. Loads of stories. Maybe we can get into another time. We could do, but I don't know. So nowadays, so I'm 39 now, and I was 29 actually. So 10 years, and since I'd stopped active addiction, to those, the bad drugs, the really bad ones. Thanks very much. So I'm 39. So, and then I struggled. I always I switched my addictive personality, sort of switched its focus onto different things, so I tried to just drink normally for a while with, minimal success. So I'm coming up to 6 months sober now, so completely off the lot, because alcohol was never my main problem. But at the end of the day, I'm in sort of it's a substance which changes how I feel. So I think when I'm around substances that change how I feel, I tend to use them in an unhealthy way. I'm one of those people that it's easier for me to not drink at all than try and drink normally, yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones, you know, I've survived it just about. Probably not, you know, probably. I've heard people say they didn't have. Some people say I didn't have a bad childhood. I just had a very long childhood. Do you know what I mean?
Michael, I can actually relate to that, Mike. At 18,
Yeah,
20 years of age, I was a junkie.
yeah,
I was putting needles in my arm, and I was doing speed amphetamines. And what you have to remember, Mike, we have bad habits, but
mm,
men like to abuse drugs, like to abuse things. And when we
yeah,
abuse them, it gets the better of us. And
yeah,
unfortunately, we abuse drugs, and I abused drugs, and I paid the consequences for it at that time. But like you, Michael, I've learned so much about that. And at a
yeah,
time when I thought my life was fun, which it was, you reached a certain point in my life, Michael, where it wasn't fun. And I wasn't respecting myself. People weren't respecting me.
yeah,
I started to see the kind of friends who were thought were friends were not friends at all. They were enemies. They were people just holding me down and keeping me back. So, like you said, Michael, it's a journey what you go through. At times it was fun, it was joy, it was joyful, it was adventurous. But then when you realise your health is getting worse and worse, your mind
yeah,
starts going, you start feeling insecure, you start feeling them feelings of paranoia, the whole world's against you, and you start to blame and you do stupid things. And we learn from that. So, Michael, I relate to exactly where you're coming from with your life, so I can understand exactly that pain and sorrow. What did it
yeah. I
teach
don't.
you? What did you learn from that, Michael? What was the learning process for you?
Um, yeah, well, I mean, I was smoking heroin when I was 15. You know, that's pretty young. Um, and then every other drug came along as well, pretty much. Um, so it's kind of a, you know, it's a cliched story because I know it myself. I've told it myself. It doesn't hold loads of interest. You know, I don't. There's certain stories that I find amusing. It's good to remember where you've been and everything, but I don't want to dwell there. I want to be the person that I was always meant to be. You know, that I had the potential to be before I, you know, just took loads of drugs. Yeah, and I felt invincible for a long time, especially with stuff like cannabis. You know, I used to smoking weed. I used to smoke a lot of weed every day for a long time, and yeah, and I felt invincible. You know, and I never used to get paranoid. But then eventually it happened. You know, and my mind just started thinking shit all a lot of the time, and I remember thinking, oh dear, my mind's turned against me. This isn't good. So it's taken a lot of work, you know, and a lot of patience, really, I think, and an effort to have any sort of sense of recovery. And I'm just glad that it exists and you can do it. I think in life, basically, you get the option of you can go down this, like I say, you know, I was saying, what did I say, off the tracks or something? You can take a little detour. Some people
Okay.
dabble and have a little bit of a detour, but you can go on a massive detour, but it can make it more difficult to find your way back to the, you know, to the path that you feel like you're meant to be on, you know. So I've just about made it back to that path now, and I'm really grateful for being able to appreciate things, you know, in a normal way. I've detoured from your question there, Frankie. Can you just remind me exactly what you said? Because I've gone off on a
No, you haven't gone off it at all. I think it's really important when you go off the rails and you've gone
yeah,
back to the rails on that track. And I
yeah,
like the way you mentioned the word invincible because
yeah,
I felt like Superman. You know, I felt like
yeah,
Superman. Look at me, you know, I'm big and cocky and smart. And when I realized the danger and the problems that it was doing for my life and causing me, I realized that, you know, you can't keep going on doing these bad habits because
yeah,
eventually it starts to affect your personality, your state of
yeah.
mind, your mental state, your attitude, your trusting people, your loving people. It just
I think,
virtually wears you down. But
yeah,
Michael, I
yeah,
could see that. It was other people who were seeing it. I couldn't see it.
yeah.
You know,
I
that
know, yeah,
was challenging.
yeah. I think I just always wanted to. I always wanted to get clean and sort myself out somewhere. You know, there's times where because I got sorted so many times, and then I relapsed so many times. There was times when I thought, okay, if I relapse again, I need to just stick with this and just die. You know what I mean? Die, and not. I'm tired of picking myself up and dusting myself down. You know, But whenever I'd start using again, I couldn't take it to the end. You know, there's some people I know that still and I don't know them to speak to them anymore, but I hear stories that they've just continued in their active addiction, you know, and they just, very few, a lot of them have died and some of them have sorted themselves out. But yeah, some of them just continue on, you know. So yeah. But yeah, one of the things I hear in the, you know, because I go to these support meetings and stuff, and one of the things they say is I quite like is we came for our drinking, but we stay for our thinking. So it's that simple, isn't it? But because it's not, you know, once you've sorted out, oh, I don't think about using, I don't think about drinking anymore. That's great, but I still have a mind which thinks in crazy, distorted ways, you know, that isn't right. So it's nice to be able to be around other people that also have that, you know, those strange kooks, is that a word? So yeah. Yeah.
So Mike, you're in that situation. We need people to inspire us. We need people to drag us out of that dark pit. Who was your inspiration at the time? Did that be one who inspired you? Who you thought you looked up to at that time, or somebody you can look back and think, wow, I found that person really inspirational. I can relate to my life and his life. Do you have that person?
Yeah, that's a good question. To sort of explain, like I've said, you know, my thinking is not always like doesn't always lead me down the best way. So I think that when I was younger, I was inspired by, the culture's changed now and I've changed, thank God. But you know, and I used to be inspired by, say, probably the wrong sort of people, you know, the wrong sort of people, or at least the stuff that made it glamorous, or, you know, the elegantly wasted sort of, you know, I romanticize things, you know, which I think is a good thing, but it can also be, it depends what you're romanticizing. So I was living out my crazy fantasies, you know, which I managed to do, but eventually you come to a bit of a dead end, you know, and reality isn't quite the romantic vision that you had watching, you know, certain bands or whatever it is, you know, that you're into. The reality becomes a little bit boring and grim, you know, and very miserable and desperate. So when that happens, it's like, okay, yeah, I need to shift my focus. And to be honest, I think, I've had a few inspirations along the way, and but more recently, I think, in terms of people that are in recovery, I quite like. I'm a bit put off by perfection, or people that are overly perfect. It doesn't, you know, it's like you often hear the saying attraction rather than promotion. You know, people can big themselves up to me all they want, and it's like, you know, you're either attracted or you're not, sort of thing, to a person or a way of thinking. And there's one guy who's definitely not perfect, and he's a comedian called Bobby Lee. He's from South Korea. Well, he's not from South Korea, but his heritage is, you know, his parents were from South Korea. He's born in America, and he does podcasts, one with his girlfriend on YouTube called Tiger Belly, and one called Bad Friends with his friend Andrew Santino. And anyway, they're in the LA circuit where they're comedians, and they're obviously very successful YouTubers making a living from it. But the thing about Bobby Lee is he's very not perfect, and yet he's in recovery. You know, he's sober, he's in recovery, but the combination of being not perfect but also in recovery and an amusing person, I think that's one of the things recently that's made me think, yeah, you know, I should become more dedicated to recovery, you know. And some of his stories are similar to me, you know, the age in which he was very young when he started taking these drugs, and young when he's in rehab, and he's got a lot of crazy. So I like his openness as well. I wish I could be more open. I've been more open now on this interview than usual, you know, and I'm fine with it. And I'd like to be more like that, because why not, you know.
I would say, Mike, it's like horses for courses. Grant Cardone is a famous entrepreneur public speaker, and his profession, his skill, his master, his sales, and he's written books, and he written a book what was a bestseller, and in that book he had loads of spelling mistakes,
Yeah.
but it was a bestseller.
Yeah.
Grant Cardone says, "Look, no one's perfect. We've got to start somewhere. Just start.
Yeah.
Don't try to
Yeah.
become the perfect human being. The perfect human being isn't out there." And there's a saying as well, mate. He says, "Perfection paralysis."
Yeah. And
You know,
perfection is the enemy of good. I've heard that as
perfection
well.
paralysis. Yeah, you can't be the perfect person. You can't expect to do everything perfectly because you'll never do anything, and you'll
Yeah,
just kill
exactly.
yourself and paralyze yourself to procrastination. You know, so you've really got to look at that. And like you said, Michael, you have to start somewhere, but you have to start and learn as you're going along, and you'll learn by your mistakes. I honestly believe, Michael, me personally, I'm my worst critic. I'm my worst critic. I know when I've done something right, I've done something wrong. I will pan myself to death because that's what we do. You know, that is exactly what we do. You know, so being your worst critic can make you probably a better person. You know, so I'll go with that. You know, that I can be a better person through being my worst critic. So don't always try to look for perfection paralysis. Just try to go for being the best person that you can possibly be, or you can even better yourself day by day or month after month, just to improve a little bit, Michael. Does that make sense? Do you relate to that?
Yeah, I'm glad you've said that. Yeah. Yeah, because yeah, it's a balance, isn't it, between, yeah, it's like you don't just want to be a complete fuck up, you know, you've got to put some effort in, and it's that balance. Yeah, definitely. I've got a friend who we often joke about this because he's very much, we jam with our, you know, we play guitars and stuff like that, and we're like planning on doing open mics. And I'm very much like from the beginning, I've always been like, yeah, we're great, we're ready, let's go, let's do it, you know. And he's like, we're not good enough though. We need to work really hard on these 3 songs over and over and over and over again. And and I think, well, you know, but I think I benefited from his you know, from that attitude of improvement. And I think he's probably benefited from my sort of you know, slightly naive approach of, you know, which is sometimes just, you know, more of an artistic purity maybe than naivety. Just, you know, let's not lose what makes us ourselves in the process of getting good. We need to still be, you know, we need to still be you need to still put ourselves into the performance, and not just be like a karaoke act, you know, replicating what's been done before, you know, something like that. I don't know. So I'm sounding cliched again, probably, but yeah, he's kind of pushed me to get better, and I have got a lot better, and it's more enjoyable now. Now that I can play better, I can sing better. I enjoy it more. So, you know, I can see the benefits of maybe, you know, aiming for perfection, you know, but knowing that it's never going to happen. It's never going to
I
happen.
believe, Mike, there's strength in vulnerability. And I think you've
Yeah,
really shown your vulnerability side. And I think that's really
hope so.
important to have that because it shows your true self and who you are as a true person.
Yeah.
So have the strength in vulnerability is really appealing to a lot of people because it means that you're
Mm.
being unique and you're being true to who you are yourself. What music do you do, Mike? What music do you class it as? What do you call it?
Um, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know. Guitar bashing, you know,
Guitar bashing. Wow.
trying to make a nice sound. Um, yeah, what do I call it? Well, I play acoustic music. I write my own songs. Um, I've written quite a few new songs. Well, a few of my own. I've been doing it for years. It's just something I do. I like the saying that sounds a bit pretentious now I said this, but I think it's true, is that a true artist does their work every day, whether they get paid or not.
I love that. I
So
love that
it's just
phrase.
something I've done for ages. But I have got a side of me that definitely wants to share it, you know, and go out and share it and have a collective experience that's, you know, that's enjoyable.
I've heard some of what you do, Michael, and I enjoy it. I think it's really great. I feel that as people, we all have gifts, don't we, and qualities, Michael, and it's really
Yeah,
important to explore it. And if you have a gift, share it with the world. And I feel you have a gift in music and what you do. So share it with the world. Share that passion of what you do. Do you feel passionate about your music, Michael? Yeah. Is it a
I
passion?
do. It's a passion, yeah. Yeah, I feel passionate about it. I do. I've always loved music, all sorts of music. I remember you were on my podcast and you're talking about drum and bass. And I used to I've been to a dance festival in Croatia a few years ago, and that was just all drum and bass. It was like an old castle. You had like a moat and all this like rundown castle, and it was some of it was like heavy drum and bass, and it was amazing.
I would have loved that.
I
I would
just
have loved that.
You
Yeah.
would have loved it. It was intense. I had a great time. And then yeah, when was it? Not the Saturday just gone, one before. I went to a sober rave in the Academy in Manchester.
Wow.
That was pretty good. Just
Raving. They used to rave up and down the country. I used to love it. Yeah.
yeah, me too, me too. It was amazing. It was so good. Yeah, I've got loads of rave stories from back in the day, from
Oh,
the ones I
tell
can
me about
remember.
it.
Yeah,
Same as well, Mike. Yeah.
hey,
Same as well, yeah. And pills and stuff like that, and enjoying myself. But
yeah,
yeah, just incredible days to reminisce, have a little bit of nostalgia. And for me and you, Michael, it's amazing that we've come out of that, hasn't it, Michael? Fighting
brilliant.
to tell
Yeah,
that tale and to live through that kind of excitement,
yeah,
adventure, and kind of uncertainty and danger. I've kind of
yeah,
always kind of lived dangerously, and I feel, Michael, you're that type of person. You kind of live your life kind of like on the edge, which I feel has really made me the person I am today, a lot more
yeah,
level-headed. You know,
yeah,
so
yeah,
you
yeah,
feel a lot
definitely.
more
Yeah.
level-headed for what you've actually been through. Would you like to tell a story of, yeah, look at my life, look what I've done, look what I've achieved, look at the dark side of my life, and I can inspire other people to search, really soul search, and dig deep in your own life to find what it is that really you're passionate about and what you really want to do with this world, and to really love and respect yourself, because we
Yeah,
don't do that.
you've got to find things that you're into. That yeah, when I first stopped taking drugs, I remember my problem was, okay, I just need a girlfriend now. That's going to solve everything. And I remember like liking this girl and going around to her house one day, and she was like, you're putting all your hopes on one person. It's just deluded. And she said, you need some hobbies. You need some hobbies. And I went away and I thought, yeah, she's right. I'd basically, since, taking drugs and getting off my face used to be a hobby, and stopped taking that. And I was like, my life's empty now. What do I do? And you go and put it, you can't do that. So yeah, I just worked hard on figuring out what it was that I liked, and nurture those hobbies, and you've got to find where you've got to find things that you're into, that make you happy, that you don't depend on other people for, you know, um,
Amazing.
which is what I've been doing and I continue to do. Yeah, and things have grown from there, really, because the thing with the drugs thing is it's all great and you have all these highs and lows, and yeah, but afterwards it can be a bit of a void. Things are a bit derelict, and you've got to sort of, you know things are a bit flat. I think if you're someone who's never taken drugs, you've got all your natural chemicals that you need to enjoy a good life. You don't need to take drugs. You can have your natural highs and lows without it being without it destroying your life, basically. So my advice would be you know don't overdo it, or don't do it at all.
In
So yeah,
moderation.
moderate if you can do moderation.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you
When
can
you
do
abuse
that,
anything,
then good luck to you. Hey,
in moderation, when you abuse anything, it only comes back to you, and you end up with the more pain and more grief and the more suffering. So
yeah, yeah,
I always
yeah,
try to do everything in moderation, and
yeah,
even found that with women as well.
yeah, yeah,
Too
yeah.
much of anything is not good for you. Even though we love
Oh,
it, we still got to do it in moderation, and we got to really be in control.
yeah,
Self-control and self-discipline and willpower. I think we need willpower as well, Mike, to really control our
yes,
demons and to control the things what we enjoy doing as well. You know, that's a challenge,
yeah.
isn't it? You know,
It is. It is. I mean, yeah, definitely. I do agree with that. Yeah, determination can go a long way, can't it? You know, it's a, um, yeah, yeah. I think at some point, yeah, it's always the bad because obviously, yeah, I suppose. I mean, that rave last week was amazing because you just get off on people, the people who are really going for it. It
They're
inspires
enjoying
you to
themselves.
think, I'm going to really go for it. Yeah, I'm going to let go, let go, let go, let go. And after a while, the music's just in you and takes over, you know, and you can be your own
Really
like unconventional self and just let go. You don't have to think about whatever.
amazing
It was too
feeling.
loud. One thing else, it was too loud though. It was too loud. My mate bought earplugs for us both. Thank God, because it was.
Well,
Yeah,
that's interesting you said that, Michael, because I suffer with tinnitus.
I remember you saying that. Yeah, yeah, and I thought that's
You
the
know,
sort of gig that he's going to give people. It would give people tinnitus. At one point, you know, the guy was like on the mic, proper, really shouting. And before that point, I was like to my friend, I don't need any earplugs. I'm all right. When he started doing that, I was like, give me the earplugs.
else you end up like me, with hissing and buzzing around your head.
How loud is yours then?
On.
Is it loud all the time? Quite a lot.
It's just hissing and like a buzz
Right.
around my head and a humming. But I've tend to get used to it, Michael. And sometimes
Yeah.
when I'm a bit stressed, it gets a little bit too much. And sometimes I
Yeah.
couldn't sleep with it, I must admit. But I've got really
Yeah.
used to it. With my spiritual meditation, that's really helped me as well. But I
Where
feel
does
it's
it? Where,
still out there what I'm exploring with tablets, which can help this. So I'm going to explore these tablets and see how they help me. But yeah,
yeah.
I live with it and I live a great life, and it's made me more aware of what's going on
Yeah.
around me, to be honest. I'm probably more enlightened, in a way, Mike. I feel it's there
Yeah.
for a reason, you know? It's there for a reason. Too much loud music, probably too much a lot of machinery, factory work, what I used to do. I
Yeah.
really feel that's played its toll on me, So that's the downfall of probably enjoying your life and partying. It can affect your health, your mental health. So we've really got to
Yeah.
be aware of that, of the dangers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Michael, thank you so much for sharing what you've actually shared on this
That's right.
YouTube. I mean, I love the music I used to listen to in my wild days, like Jimi Hendrix and The Experience. What an experience that was. Pink Floyd,
Mm.
Dark Side of the Moon, Led Zeppelin, some of these amazing rock bands, The Doors. We had some really good laughs and some, listen to the amazing bands. So I love to reminisce. Do you feel like with music, do you have certain different musics for certain different moods that you're in, Michael? What you like to relate to?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. I tend to, what am I listening to a lot at the moment? I go through little phases and then I'll revisit phases. I must admit, I'm quite into my melancholic sort of music, but not always. What have I been listening to? Let me just think a second. I've been listening to Iggy Pop in the car quite a bit. Like Lust for Life, Passenger, why is
I
it
love
called?
it.
Wild One or something? Yeah.
I am the
Real
passenger,
Wild.
the passenger.
Wild.
Great song,
Yeah, it's a brilliant song.
great music.
So I still love stuff like that evokes loads of like memories and you know,
Lou Reed,
um,
the Velvet Underground. No, Lou Reed, incredible.
yeah, yeah, I like one of his songs recently. I was watching it on YouTube, and as I was watching it, I picked up my guitar and wrote one of my better tunes whilst I was listening to it. You
Amazing.
know, sort of just
Perfect Day
inspired
was
by
it?
it.
Was it Perfect Day?
No, it wasn't Perfect Day.
Actually, about his drug addiction, you know that, don't you? About his heroin addiction.
Yeah, I do,
That's what the
I
song
do.
is related to, yeah, which is
But
incredible. Mm.
yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to see what that song was called there, Frankie, but I probably won't be able to find it. Yeah, well, I went through a Smiths phase recently. Listened to a lot of Smiths. I'm looking at my CDs over there to jog my
Great,
memory.
great man.
What I do is I go to a charity shop near me, and they've got like a small selection, but it's always pretty good. And I'll sometimes leave with quite a few CDs. Yeah, I go through phases. So um, Ian Brown, I've been listening to, Stone Roses guy.
Excellent. I love them all. I love all the Manchester
I bought a Pet
singers.
Shop Boys CD the other day.
Yeah,
Even though it was only for one tune that I really wanted it for, but I thought I'll buy the CD. It's only like a couple of quid.
I like
Pixies,
Morrissey's tongue in cheek to his songs. A lot of people find
yeah,
it probably quite serious, a bit down, a bit of a depressive. But then he does
Yeah.
a song like "The Boy with the Thorn in His Side." So I like his kind of sense of humour, his way of thinking. I just think he's a
Yeah,
very, very intelligent man, and he really gets people thinking on a deep level about life
yeah.
and
I'm not.
about,
Yeah, I don't. I don't. I know. I had this conversation with someone at work a little bit. I think he's a bit. He can be a bit up his own arse and a bit pretentious and a bit. I don't
yeah,
agree with everything he says, but I think his music's good. I'm
yeah,
not.
very talented.
He's talented in his music, so yeah, he's a funny guy, I suppose. So yeah, Smiths. What else?
There's loads of great bands.
I'll listen to
Man.
anything. I'll listen to
Yeah,
all sorts.
I have different moods, yeah, from a different type of music, and that's what keeps me going. Where would we
Yeah.
be without music, Mike? The world would be a very, very dark place for me because we need music. It soothes our mind, it soothes our soul, and it helps us to get through them dark places and the difficult challenges aspects in our life, so we can come out, a more calmer, more level-headed, and obviously, a more, happier and enlightened person. So, Michael, as we round up,
Yeah.
what have you got for the future? What lies ahead for you? For say probably your next. I don't want to look too far ahead. Let's say the next couple
Yeah.
of years. Have you got a plan? Have you got a vision for where you'd like to be, probably with your music? And what would be the next 4 to 5 years be like for you moving forward?
Well, just started college barbering course on a Wednesday. I've only done 2 weeks so far, and I've been down my local barbers where there's these three guys, and they've said I can. They said I can go down almost whenever I want. Give them a ring maybe, or just if I'm walking past, come down, sit in for an hour or two, and watch them cut. And I've got a couple of models lined up. I'd ask you, Frankie, but you're a bit like me. You've not got much to work with. So
I've got much to work with now. I tend to do mine myself as well. I've got my own
yeah,
series. I go, yeah.
I've been doing mine myself. But the other day I thought I need to network, and as I go to the barbers. So yeah, I had my first cut for a while the other day at barbers, and yeah, so that's going steady. Just keep turning up to college, go and learn off those guys, get the mannequin heads out, and have a play around. Hopefully, get good at that. I mean, yeah. So that's one of the things I've got going. I've got my podcasts. I've done 3 now.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yourself.
I'm doing a podcast tomorrow. I'll be
Say again.
interviewing. I'll be doing a podcast tomorrow. I'll be interviewing John Hassel, bassist out of the Libertines.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah, so I'm really looking
Oh,
forward to that with John Hassel, a great friend of mine. He's a Buddhist, a Buddhist like
yeah.
myself. We both practice spiritual meditation. That's where I met John. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to interviewing him tomorrow, for half an hour. That'd
Wow.
be great, and
Yeah,
we'll
brilliant,
have a good
brilliant.
laugh, and it'll be on my podcast. So I'll let you listen to that, Mike, as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I know I've really enjoyed this as well. It's been awesome. So
Yeah, it has been awesome. I've really enjoyed your company, Michael. I
yeah,
believe,
thank you.
Michael, because I'm writing my book. My book should be out in the next couple of months. But I believe that you should write a book, Michael. I think your book will really inspire a lot of people. So I'm going to encourage you to think about that.
Yeah. Maybe in a few years. Maybe in a few
Yeah,
years.
definitely. I'll encourage you. Yeah.
Nice one. I've enjoyed
So,
it. Thank you.
Michael, do you want to leave anything behind where people can find you? Any information? Do you want to leave
Yeah,
anything?
I've changed my I've got a podcast called Dragonflies. I changed the name recently, so it's Dragonflies now, and yeah, it's basically me interviewing people. But I want the format to change a little bit. I like what we've done here today. This is good conversation. So it's evolving. I've started it, like we said at the start. You've got to start things and see where they go. You're not going to get anywhere unless you dare to fail. So I've dared. It's going all right. I'm gonna get some more guests on, I suppose, but I'm going to change the format. I want it to be more like this. Maybe I'll do more Zoom ones as well. Just chatting for 20 minutes, like what we've done, is good. I think
That's good, Michael. Everything's good on YouTube and on this platform on Zoom. So you're doing really great things, Michael, and I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah,
No
I
worries.
love what
That's
Michael
enough,
said
is
about
it?
preparing to fail. of,
Yeah.
I love that. Really important. We've got to
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
somewhere. Please start, ladies and gentlemen. Michael, thank you so much, mate. I appreciate you. Thanks for being on my YouTube channel. Michael, you're a great guy. If you like this YouTube and you like this video, please would you leave us a comment below, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to my channel. And you'll find a lot of information about myself and Michael Robinson underneath this YouTube description channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you. Take care. My warmest wishes to you all, and I look forward to see you all and speaking to you very soon. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much, my friend.